Hello super friends and welcome to DC TV Talk, and in today's episode we are going to be discussing a new villain who is going to be coming to Arrow in Season 7 who goes by the name of Javelin. So let's discuss. So in regards to the characters and the villains in Arrow Season 7, we already know that the main villain of Arrow Season 6, Ricardo Diaz, is going to be returning in a big way next season, alongside the new big bads for the main season itself, which is of course the previously mentioned Season 6 antagonists, the Longbow Hunters, who are going to be made up of Kodiak, Red Dar, and Silencer. So we have those main four villains in the pot for Season 7. But this has led other people, is Ricardo Diaz the big bad? Are the Longbow Hunters the big bad? Is one Longbow Hunter specifically the big bad? Or is there somebody else at play who we don't even know about? Well, that could be the case, as we've just got the announcement of Javelin, who is going to be coming to the show in Season 7. So if you don't know, Javelin is a character from DC Comics who was a German Olympic athlete who became a criminal. Using his talents, he was able to create an unusual arsenal of weapons based on spears, and this led to him becoming a mercenary. He's actually most known as a Green Lantern villain, which is very interesting. We get a Green Lantern villain on Arrow. So he's mostly known for being a villain of specifically Hal Jordan, and he's had quite a lot of stories to do with him, but also with the overall DC universe. Like, he was a lackey for Prometheus at a point, and he was also a member of the Suicide Squad for some time. So this is quite an interesting choice for a villain to come to Arrow, but obviously, as you can tell by the name of Javelin, this guy is a very grounded villain, which again makes it suitable for Arrow. Now, in the show, he is being described as smart and ruthless. Leonard Gibbons, aka Javelin, is a French chemical weapons trader. In the midst of a huge ongoing deal, he does business with an undercover Curtis Holt / Mr. Terrific, bringing Team Arrow squarely into the mix. The studio is currently on the lookout for a French-speaking male in his early 30s to take on what is being described as a large principal role. So this is very interesting in another sense, because obviously, as I said previously, in the comics, this character is actually of German origin, but here we can actually see they're changing it to French for the show. I don't know why you would necessarily change that, but whatever, that's what they're doing. He's now being French in this show, and he's going to be a weapons trader, which again just kind of brings him down even more to a simple, more grounded level for Arrow, even more so than he already was. So this is quite cool. I'm quite excited for the fact that this villain is going to be a large principal role, so this does tell us he's going to be a pretty big villain within the season. He's also going to be a villain for Team Arrow, so this is not going to be a villain for Oliver when he's in prison, like the potential Blockbuster who's being rumoured, but instead this is a villain who Team Arrow is going to have to face on the street. So that's mostly new Team Arrow when they do come back. I imagine new Team Arrow will be reformed very early on in Season 7, and we'll see Renee, Curtis, and Dinah come back, and we'll see them team up. Maybe Diggle will come back as well, and we'll see how that's going on. And while Oliver's in prison, they could be dealing with this character. Now, he could be a recurring character, he could be a regular. It doesn't say a series regular position, which tells me he's not, so I'm going to say this is going to be a recurring role. But it's very interesting to see that this character is going to be changed ever so slightly and tweaked for the live action adaptation on the show. Also, what's interesting to talk about is that it does say, after doing business with an undercover Curtis Holt, aka Mr. Terrific. So obviously this is interesting, they're sending Curtis out undercover to go and meet this guy. But what's interesting is, obviously, if you know Curtis's backstory on the show, he was a ex-Olympic athlete. He was a decathlon bronze winner during the, I believe, was it the 2008 Olympics, the Beijing Olympics that they do in the show? So he is an ex-Olympic decathlon, top 3 winner. So this means that he could be in relation to this character in some way. Like, he could know this character, maybe they are connected in some way, and this actually gets me very excited because we know nothing about Curtis in Season 7. We don't know what he's doing, we don't know what he's up to, what his storyline's going to be. He wasn't in the trailer at all. We haven't seen a single thing from Curtis in Season 7 except for one photo, and that's it. That's all we've seen, so we don't know what he's going to be doing. It'd be really cool if there's a villain in the season who is actually related to Curtis, who knows Curtis, knows how he thinks, knows how he is, and maybe they were competitors back when Curtis was an Olympian. They were deep competitors. Now he's come up as a criminal, and now he's fighting Curtis as a vigilante. I think that'd be a really awesome piece of symbolism, and just a really awesome way to bring this character who, if they are connected to Curtis, bring them back onto the show and give them a relevant position. I think it'd be very interesting. So I really like this idea of him being connected to Curtis in some way, because again, it gives Curtis something interesting to do and something for him to chew on, which he doesn't normally get. I feel like Curtis, I mean, I like Curtis a lot, but I feel like he's the most irrelevant character on the show, just because you know, he's kind of useless in the field, and then he can't really be useful back at base either because they've got Felicity. So he's kind of a weird character who just kind of sits there, and nobody really knows what to do with him. And I feel like if they gave him something like this would be very interesting and make his storyline a lot more intriguing for Season 7. Now, this article was written by that hashtag show, which I also write for myself, so a bit of a plug there. If you don't know, I do write for that hashtag show. But it was reported by them that this character is coming to the show. And what's interesting is, in the article, it does say that this character is, they do use the words big bad, although this is from the writer of the article itself, not actually the source. So I don't actually know what big role this villain's going to have, because obviously it does say in the description a large principal role, but it doesn't say big bad or this is going to be the main villain of the season, because like I say, I feel the main villain of the season is going to be the Longbow Hunters. We're going to have them be the primary focus, and Diaz is going to be there. So I feel like this is just going to be maybe a recurring villain who keeps coming back, kind of like in Season 3 what we had with Danny Brickwell. I feel like it's going to be similar to that. So I feel like you can expect to see him quite a lot within Season 7 on the street, but he's not going to be the main focused villain in comparison to, say, the Longbow Hunters or Ricardo Diaz. You know, he's not going to be that character. So I feel like, you know, this character, he is going to have a pretty substantial role, but he's not going to be the main big bad. But what do you guys think about Javelin? Make sure you tell me all your thoughts about him in the comment section down below. Are you excited for this character to come to Arrow, or do you think he's going to be a bit generic? Make sure you let me know all your thoughts about him in the comment section down below. So, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like, it'll help me out a lot. And share this video with anyone and everyone you know who loves DC TV and get them to join the community. And as always guys, please subscribe for your latest content on Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow and Black Lightning. And with all that said guys, I hope to see you again in my next video.